Donald Trump has been getting a lot of bad press on his Arlington stunt that he did on Monday, and JD Vance decided that he wanted in on that action. Because JD Vance tried to defend Donald Trump for this, but he only made things a whole lot worse. Now we'll go through what JD Vance said in a second, but first, I wanted to cover an MSNBC article that touches on a few new details that have not been previously covered. So let's take a look at this article. For Trump, Arlington National Cemetery controversy goes from bad to worse. As the week got underway, Donald Trump probably thought going to Arlington National Cemetery would be a good idea. The former president, despite his awful record related to respecting US troops and veterans, appeared eager on Monday to exploit the 3rd anniversary of a terrorist attack in Afghanistan that killed 13 US service members and more than 150 Afghans. As a result, the Republican nominee attended a wreath-laying ceremony at the tomb of the unknown soldier, which was quickly followed by a thumbs-up photo op at a gravestone in Section 60 of the cemetery, where many service members killed in Afghanistan and Iraq are buried. At that point, the story was already problematic. On Tuesday, however, the matter took a turn for the worst amid reports of an incident involving Trump aides and someone who worked at the cemetery. A day later, the controversy continued to intensify. NBC News reported, quote, "Former President Donald Trump's campaign is playing down reports of an altercation during his visit to Arlington National Cemetery on Monday, a move that signals its concern about potential political fallout from the incident." Republicans might have hoped that this scandal would be a one-day story, but I have some bad news for them. It's a story with a surprising number of moving parts, so let's summarize where things stand. Two defense officials told NBC News that a member of Trump's team pushed an employee at the cemetery as part of the effort to take photographs at Section 60. The same NBC News report added that military police were called and wrote up an incident report, which has not been made public. The Trump campaign has denied reports of physical altercation. A woman who works at the cemetery and filed an incident report has declined to press charges, the New York Times reported on Wednesday, citing military officials. According to the report, which has not been independently verified by MSNBC or NBC News, the woman feared retaliation from Trump's followers. You know, the same followers who were threatening to hang Mike Pence? So it's no wonder why she didn't want to press charges and make herself known to the public. The same Times report highlighted concerns for one family whose loved one served 8 combat tours and is buried at Arlington, that believes the Trump campaign filmed his gravesite without permission. The Associated Press reported, citing a defense official, that the Trump campaign received warnings about not taking photographs in Section 60. If that report is accurate, the Republican operation did not heed those warnings. Mark Esper, who served as Trump's defense secretary, called for an investigation into the incident. Similarly, Democratic Representative Jerry Connolly of Virginia issued a written statement calling for the release of documents related to Monday's incident. USA Today published a report on veterans who were not pleased with Trump's actions. The article quoted retired Major General Paul Eaton, a senior advisor at Vote Vets, who called the campaign's actions at the cemetery nauseating and repugnant. As feared, Team Trump has already released a campaign video featuring footage of the GOP candidate's visit to Arlington. And this will be important later, so hold that in the back of your mind for a sec. Republican vice presidential nominee JD Vance said that Vice President Kamala Harris can go to hell for criticizing Trump's cemetery appearance, despite the fact that Harris hasn't actually made any such criticisms. Now, it may seem like this is what we're going to be talking about today with JD Vance defending Donald Trump. Except this is not actually the main thing that we're going to cover today. Because this is not even the worst thing that JD Vance said. So let's go ahead and take a look at what JD Vance said as he tried to defend Donald Trump.
You guys in the media, you're acting like Donald Trump filmed a TV commercial at a gravesite. He was there providing emotional support to a lot of brave Americans who lost loved ones they never should have lost, and there happened to be a camera there, and somebody gave him permission to have that camera there.
So JD Vance is trying to say that it's not like they made a commercial out of it or anything, right? Except for the fact that they literally did. Take a look at this TikTok ad that they made using the footage to promote Trump for president.
We lost 13 great people. What a horrible day it was. We didn't lose one person in 18 months. And then they took over that disaster, the leaving of Afghanistan.
So yeah, JD Vance, they very clearly did make a commercial out of this stunt. So yeah, this is absolutely disgusting behavior from both Trump and JD Vance. It is unbelievable that JD Vance would try to downplay and defend Trump's actions, especially how pro-veteran he's been trying to be recently. And JD Vance was also just plain wrong. He claimed that Trump was given permission to film and do everything that he did. And sure, maybe he was allowed and given permission to film in very specific areas, but he was warned multiple times to not film or not take photos or not do anything in Section 60. And as we saw earlier, a lot of workers were just scared of retaliation from Trump's base if they were to go up and try to stop him or something. So just because you weren't asked to stop filming or stop taking pictures does not mean that you're allowed to do it. Plus, other families at the gravesite did not give him permission to film and take pictures, so overall, this was just a complete lie from JD Vance. So what this all tells me is that JD Vance clearly doesn't care for veterans or even his own image. Because if he did, he would have said, yeah, Trump messed up, but it was an honest mistake. And JD Vance would have played it to be like he was trying to do the right thing, but the execution just maybe didn't land correctly. That would have saved him a lot of bad press, maybe not completely, but at least not as bad as he's getting right now. Because him just outright defending Trump is clearly undefendable. So, in my opinion, JD Vance deserves all of the hate that is coming his way.